Beautiful. So, dear devotees, thank you so much for being here today. Today we are very much blessed. We have His Grace PANCA GAUDA PRABHU. We've had Prabhu here before, so he's not new to most of us. But in case you did not know him, he is the temple president of Vrindavan in India. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once or maybe several times said, if the mountain cannot come to you, you have to go to the mountain. There are some of us who have not been able to visit Vrindavan, but Vrindavan has visited us today. How fortunate are we? So, dear devotees, thank you all for being here today. And Prabhuji, our obeisances, thank you for being here. So if you're ready, we'll put the verse on the screen and then we'll take it over from here.
Okay, I'm just going to say the
yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yes. Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nasta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, Text 37. Ata prischami sangsidhing yoginang paramangurum purushasyeha yat karyam mriyamanasya sarvata. Ata, therefore, prischami, beg to inquire, sangsidhim, the way of perfection, yoginam, of the saints, paramam, the supreme, gurum, spiritual master, purushasya, of a person, iha, in this life, yat, whatever, karyam, duty, mriyamanasya, of one who is going to die, sarvata, in every way. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. Unless one is perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection, there's no necessity of approaching a spiritual master. The spiritual master is not a kind of decoration for a householder. Generally, a fashionable materialist engages a so-called spiritual master without any profit. The pseudo-spiritual master flatters the so-called disciple. Thereby both the master and his ward go to hell without a doubt. Maharaj Parikshit is the right type of disciple because he puts forward questions vital to the interest of all men, particularly for the dying men. The question put forward by Maharaj Parikshit is the basic principle of the complete thesis of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us see how intelligently the great master replies. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So this is a very beautiful verse, especially this first canto is full of so much nectar and understanding. I'm just started reading again Prabhupada Lilamrita, and just appreciating how Srila Prabhupada, after meeting his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how he completely became sold out and dedicated to the mission of his Guru Maharaj, despite all the difficulties, all the challenges. We may have heard the Lilamrita, but read it again and just try to understand that we're all going to meet many troubles, many anxieties in life. We're seeing how this Kali Yuga is progressing very, very quickly. Even Srila Prabhupada noted that mostly in Bharatvarsh, in India in particular, people are very much aware that I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul. Whereas even the modern scientists of the Western world, he gave the example of Professor Kotovsky in Russia, in Moscow. He said, Swamiji, after we're dead, everything is finished. And this is the unfortunate situation throughout the world, that people are misled by the scientists, by the leaders of society, that simply by industrialization and by scientific and experimentation and rockets to the moon and manipulating the atomic energy for safety purposes, all these all these wars and all the pestilence is all due to the improper guidance of society. That instead of having a nice emperor like Parikshit Maharaj or Yudhishthira Maharaj, who set the society up in such a way, just like we have a head, we have arms, we have a belly, we have legs, and everything has its function. So this Sanatan Dharma, this Varnashram Dharma is essential. But unless, Krishna's in our heart, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sanvishto Matat Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So it's not that Krishna just in Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world, and we're just wandering as orphans in this material world with no proper guidance. Krishna is intimately connected with each and every one of us. I know I feel insignificant. Maybe some of you feel insignificant. You think, well, why would Krishna bother so much for just an insignificant person like me? But Krishna has it's like, like you have a son, you might have 1,000 sons, 1,000,000 sons, 1,000,000,000,000 sons. You still love each and every one of them individually. And Krishna is that powerful that he can have a personal relationship with each and every one of us. Not only is he in Goloka Vrindavan, but he's in every atom of the universe. So in our heart, when you're sitting intimately next to someone, you sense their mood and their intention. So Krishna knows, and he understands, what we are and what we're thinking and what we're feeling. And somehow he guides us with the intelligence that we come to a bona fide spiritual master. It's such a rare opportunity to meet a bona fide spiritual master, but we can meet Srila Prabhupada every day through his books. That's the beauty. Prabhupada, he's giving us Krishna in the form of SRIMAD Bhagavatam, in the form of Bhagavad Gita. It says that not only the sound vibration of Krishna's name, but his book, his teachings, his pastimes. Here we are trying to discuss about the purpose of life and the importance of taking shelter of the Guru and glorifying the Supreme Lord, because he's the master and we're all servants. Isn't it? Krishna is the supreme controller and we're controlled. We think we're the owners of the body, but the example is given like if you're living in a house, you're the tenant And the landlord says, okay, now get out. You must get out of the house. So the super soul, he's the owner, he's the landlord. And he's giving us this machine, this body, because we're rebellious. In the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka, where the highest planet, Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna's involved, engaged with all his loving devotees like Nanda, Yashoda, the cowherd boys, what to speak of the gopis and the cowherd boyfriends and the cows, the calves. Everything is transcendental. It's without mundane vision, we think that, oh, Vrindavan is in the material world. It's a spiritual world. Somehow I'm in the spiritual world right here. But all of us can be in the spiritual world. And Prabhupada says that anywhere where the devotees are congregating, chanting the holy names of the Lord, and Krishna's present there during the kirtan, during the class, one needs the vision to see that. But still, being in Vrindavan, there's so much more impetus to awaken your, the Jamuna River, the beautiful scene as described in Krishna book. It's very, very attractive for developing spiritual life. So somehow or other, we're all independent. We all have individuality. And this individuality was misused by all of us in this material world, because there's unlimited relationships in the spiritual world. But the prison house, Durga, this material world, is a place of repeated birth and death and suffering. And the suffering, and no one can deny, because it said that one who's about to die approaches, he's approaching his spiritual master, and he's inquiring that, especially for what is the way to perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. We're all about to die. Whether one lives for 10, 20, 50, or 100 years, it's just a matter of time. Anything that's born, it grows, it develops, maturity, some byproducts, it dwindles and it dies. So even though we may have some flickering happiness in this material world, thinking that, oh, I have money, I have family, I have so many responsibilities, I have to do this, that, and everything else. I have my investment guru, he's telling me how to invest my money. I have my other, my yoga club, and I'm doing my yoga and breathing exercises, many things I'm doing. You can't take spiritual life too seriously, but we have to take it very, very seriously. And the more we can see and open our eyes around us, the suffering that people are experiencing now, earthquake, 30, 40,000 people died, but so many hundreds of thousands, and all these wars and the pandemics. And it's just a very, very obviously difficult place. And throughout the teachings, who is the original guru? Krishna. Krishna is the original guru. Everything emanates from Krishna. And he's the supreme spiritual master. And his teachings are loudly pronounced in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna, although an intimate friend of Krishna, as if to be illusioned by the bodily concept, he's trying to give explanation why he doesn't want to do his duty of fighting and protecting the laws of Dharma, because Guru Parampara, this Vedic knowledge, is handed down to the great kings, Rajarshis, and the Raja, the king, protects the citizens and guides them, because the Brahmanas, those who are learned personalities, those who know the scripture, who are fixed, tad viganartan sa gurum eva vigachit, that one becomes guru who becomes fixed in knowledge of the Vedic literatures. And Srila Vyasadeva, seeing Kali Yuga progressing, and people are very short-lived, and not very intelligent, able to comprehend the purpose and goal of life, he put everything in writing. Imagine when Vyasadeva made a deal with Ganesh that as an incarnation, we're going to compile this Vedic literature for the benefit of all humanity. Okay, Ganesh said, I'll do it, but if you don't, as long as you don't stop reciting till we're finished. So start from the beginning, go all the way through, and then we'll make this Vedic literature available. But so many self-interested persons who mental gymnastic and speculators want to take bits and pieces of the scripture for their own purposes and not give clear understanding. And this is unfortunate that people I think are just writing so many books, and we can see the libraries. These are Vedic libraries behind you, but there are so many literatures for economics and politics and mundane romance and everything. There's books about everything. But one who's fortunate, he inquires from the spiritual master, like Arjuna said to Krishna after Krishna says that, you're speaking like a learned person, but nobody who is really understanding or mature in spiritual understanding speaks like you. He says, okay, Shishyastehang Shadimang Tvang Prapanam. Okay, I surrender to you. No longer friendly talks, just casual discussion. I'm genuinely confused and bewildered about the purpose of my life. Krishna, please instruct me. And this is the mood that one should take. And the guru is one who repeats and represents Krishna. So we're glorifying God as Arjuna did. Parang Brahma, Parang Dhamma, Pavitrang, Paramang Bhavam, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidev, Majam Vibhum. You're the supreme absolute truth, the purest truth, and everything that you've told me about you, I fully accept, and all the great acharyas accepted. And so Arjuna is glorifying Krishna. So in the same way, we see that the guru, he's non-different than Krishna, but the guru doesn't say that I am Krishna. He says I'm a representative of Krishna. And by approaching a spiritual master with the proper mood, inquisitive, because sometimes the challenging spirit is there. We think, because we have independent consciousness and everybody likes to be number one, they think, I understand all these things, and the humility is not coming forth. But tadviri pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanas tatpadarsanam. Learn the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Inquire submissively and render service. The self-realized soul will give you knowledge and understanding. So when I began, I told you I'm reading this Lilamrita, and I'm finding that the sacrifice that Srila Prabhupada was doing, despite the inability, he had no money, and people are just so no time, Swami, and they don't want to hear about what is the absolute truth and what is the purpose of life. I was speaking to my son. He called me just about. He's in America. One's a policeman, a very nice policeman. They both went to Gurukula, but so busy. I said, Ram, you've got to slow down a little bit. And yes, I will. But it's like everybody's so busy doing what they have to do, not only for themselves, for their family, maybe even for their community, for their country, on behalf of their country. But Parikshit Maharaj, being the emperor and very proud of his parentage, or his ancestors, Yudhishthira Maharaj, especially Arjuna, Lord Krishna is a close friend. And he's also known as Vishnu Rata, one who's protected by Lord Vishnu. So somehow or other, due to time, destiny, everything, everybody has their karmana daivana trena, but he is pure devotee. And so the Lord and the Lord's pure devotees are difficult to understand. We try to rationalize it within our own brain. How is it possible? The emperor of the world, Parikshit Maharaj, just for a small act of putting a dead snake over a rishi's shoulders, then he's cursed to die by his son? How is that possible? But he took it as a benediction. And now Krishna is setting up the platform that to deliver this message of Godhead to all of us, to bring us the Guru. The Guru is also Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, but it's very important about this association with sadhus and devotees. It's not that on our own, and we think that we don't need a spiritual master, spiritual guide. It's all in the books. I can just read the book, right? It's not like that. You can't just read the medical journals and pretend that you're a doctor. It's not going to happen. And if you want to, Prabhupada gives the example, if you have a dictaphone machine that's broken, you don't go to a ditch digger who can dig a nice hole, but he can't fix the machine. You need to go to a technician who's expert with the machinery. So the Guru, he's expert in understanding the entrapment of this material existence, this Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Turatyaya. It's very difficult to come out of this Maya, because just like at a funeral, or you see here we often have to bring devotees to the bank of the Jamuna and do the ceremony, and there's a very sober mood. Just like Bhishma Dev, just a little bit earlier, you must have covered that pastime already, how Bhishma Dev, they said, was more powerful than, or actually greater than Brahma and Shiva. These are all, the pure devotees of the Lord are even greater than the Lord. Just like Bhishma Dev was giving instruction when Yudhishthira Maharaj, after the battle of Kurukshetra, such a huge battle, because his cousins wanted to unrightfully take the kingdom, although Yudhishthira was not eager to fight this battle because he didn't want to cause the killing of all the Kuru dynasty, but to reestablish religious principles and protect devotees, Paritranaya Sadhunang Vinashaya Chadushkritam Krishna, he ordered it. He ordered Arjuna. And everyone in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, both sides, they attained their original swarup. They were blessed. They were blessed to go back home to the spiritual world, all of them. So Bhishma Dev, although he was fighting on the opposite side, but he had a chivalrous rasa with Krishna. And he spoke, what are the principles of Dharma? What are the principles of religion? And what is the perfection of life? And all the great saints again assembled, like Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, the Pandavas, Lord Krishna personally. And Bhishma Dev on his deathbed was praying that I just want to see you and meditate on you. And he had the power to leave his body at, he had that benediction that he can leave his body at will. So he waited for the opportune time to instruct Yudhishthira and alleviate his suffering due to the guilt of thinking that all these Kurus and so many warriors and so much suffering to the mothers and daughters and wives and all the children of Dhritarashtra were killed, all the grandchildren, all the different armies. But this was setting the scene that one needs to take instruction from the Guru, from the Mahajana. And Bhishma Dev was considered a Mahajana. And Shukadeva Goswami was present there with Bhishma Dev. So here, Krishna sends Shukadeva Goswami because Parikshit Maharaj, the emperor of the world, somehow is cursed to die. And he took it, okay, it's a benediction. Let me give the kingdom to my son, Janamejaya. And because attachments in this world are very, very strong. But by the time element, by the course of nature. We have a friend here. He was just feeling a little cough, and then he realized, not realized, but it was analyzed with fourth degree cancer. And so sometimes we're just given some, okay, you have a month. A week was given to Parikshit Maharaj. And so he was asking all the sages, because they understood there was interplanetary travel, and even the demigods were involved. I know many people in modern age think that the stories in the Mahabharata and also SRIMAD Bhagavatam are mythology, or just somebody's creating up some fantastic stories. But there's so much correspondence and so much science, so much logic and reason behind it, that any intelligent person can appreciate. So all these great sages and saints, Vyasadeva, an incarnation of God, Narada Muni is also an incarnation. He's of the bhakti, the forgiving bhakti, and so many other great personalities were there. But Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, was considered even greater than the incarnation of God. That's how powerful the devotee is. So the Lord makes these arrangements. He likes to see when his devotee is glorified and served. And so he himself took a guru with Sandipani Muni, Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. He's a combination of Radha and Krishna. And just to understand what is that relationship between, what is that love that Srimati Radharani feels for Krishna, Lord Chaitanya appeared, also showing the best process, the Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan, Kali Kalir Dharma Krishna Nam Sankirtan. He came with the holy name because we are slow in spiritual advancement. What are we going to understand? But of course, hearing is a great principle. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta marked Srila Prabhupada that he likes to hear, and he was very happy that he can become his disciple. So the guru, if you please, by proper reception, by submissive inquiry, and genuinely you want to know, not that, oh, Guru Maharaj, I have this disease, or I have a problem with my husband, my wife, my children. Guru Maharaj, can you fix these things for me? That's not the purpose. You go to the doctor, you go to the marriage counselor. But the guru is giving knowledge of how to get free from the cycle of birth and death, how in this lifetime awaken our spiritual consciousness. Right now we have a cloud covering. The sunshine is brilliant, and the sun is that's what our consciousness is, brilliant. But in contact with this material nature, this enjoying spirit, which is devoid of Krishna consciousness, it creates a cloud which obstructs our vision and doesn't allow our true brilliance and eternality to shine forth. So we're like trapped. Prahlad Maharaj said, that's like being crushed by a grinding stone. Sometimes we have spices and you can get a stone and you can crush them into powder. So this material existence is like that. There may be, of course, there's a reflection of the beauty of the spiritual world. Everything we see in this world has its counterpart in its pure form in the spiritual world. But in contact with the idea of sense enjoyment and not recognizing that Krishna is the Bhoktarang Jagatapasang Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridang Sarabhutanam Gyatmamang Shanti Mrishyati. People have no peace. People have no shanti because we don't recognize Krishna is the owner of everything. He's the supreme enjoyer of everything, and he's everyone's friend. And then one becomes fearless. He becomes free of the idea that, I'm just fearful about death, or I'm fearful. not just blindly fearless, but we're cultivating knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. We're cultivating understanding that my purpose in this human form of life is to awaken my love for God. How to do that? By taking shelter of the Guru. Krishna is the original Guru. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He came, he instructed Rupa, Sanatan, the 6 Goswamis. Just in our time, 500 years ago, Krishna again came. He spoke to Arjuna and said, okay, Sarva Dharma Parityajam Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Just give up everything, all your ideas of religion and a proper living, and just surrender to me. But unfortunately, unless we have proper guidance, just like Krishna with Sandipani Muni took instruction, and every day he learned a new art, and he's showing, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a initiation. He had his guru. So this is a principle that's being followed not only by the Lord himself, but at all the great acharyas, Guru Parampara. There's respect for all the Krishna, to Brahma, to Narada, to Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya, Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Goswamis, so many, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada's our father, our grandfather, our guru, and he's representing the entire Guru Parampara. The Goswamis scrutinizingly studied all the Vedic literatures to give guidance to all. And so Srila Prabhupada, he's imbibed that. And just imagine the struggle that Srila Prabhupada underwent just to produce this Chaitanya Charitamrita, SRIMAD Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Krishna book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. These literatures are packed. Every sentence, every word, every page, everything is meant for our guidance. So we need to awaken that eager desire. What did it say here? It says, unless one is perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection, there's no necessity of approaching a spiritual master. So all of us here who are trying to engage ourselves in bhakti, we've taken up the chanting of Krishna's holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It says here in Vrindavan, just come for the Mangal Arti, you can see the beauty of the deities and hear the chanting of the prayers to the spiritual master, how he's putting out this fire, like a blazing fire of material existence by the mercy of the spiritual master. But he's giving us this deity worship, cleaning the temple, preaching, prasadam. It's not only instructions in a book, not only do's and don'ts, but Prabhupada gave us the full package: temple, devotee association, morning program, worshiping Tulsi Devi, sadhu sangha, chanting with the devotees, guru puja together, kirtan. So much kirtan is available, and we should do more kirtan. And then to sit and hear the Bhagavatam class, even though you might feel, oh, that person doesn't speak so nicely, I think I'll just go off of my own and read. By being together and following the order of the spiritual master, then Krishna in our heart is awakening our spiritual life. It's not by our own effort. We have a descending process. Guru Parampara means that by the mercy of the spiritual master, the mercy of the devotees, the mercy of Krishna and Krishna Katha, then miraculously the fog and the cloud of illusion is burnt away by this transcendental knowledge. So I'm reading in the morning time and sending it out every day. And I'm thinking that this is really the way we need to structure our lives, that you need to schedule time every day to out loud read systematically Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and have a routine so that the chanting, the hearing and chanting are prominent. And of course, we got to take care of other duties, so many duties, but the other duties become easier to accomplish if our, I say, a serious endeavor for spiritual life is there. Perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of life. It's not just some fashionable thing that, oh, everyone has a guru. I have a guru. I got initiated. I'm okay. That's my Guru Maharaj. But the guru becomes your guru when you carry out his orders, because one can't say that, yes, I have a guru, and not follow the orders of the spiritual master. And the orders are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. Hearing about Krishna inspires you to chant about Krishna. Hearing and chanting about Krishna, you're remembering Krishna. And then you want to do service, you want to do seva, you want to understand what is offensive. If you're with someone and you love them, you want to understand what makes them happy, what are the do's and don'ts of the relationship. So nectar devotion, so much nectar is there, but there's a lot of rules and regulations. It's just a matter of education too, spiritual education. And that's coming from the guru. The guru is instructing us how we can remove the obstacles. Obstacles mean there's a hindrance to move. Things are in your way, there's challenges. So removing.
Sorry, Prabhuji, you may go ahead. Go on. Prabhuji, you are muted. Thank you.
I'm okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how I got muted. Maybe the computer didn't want to hear me anymore. No, but it's just so inspiring and so satisfying that we have a genuine guru. Srila Prabhupada is obviously God sent by Krishna, because we wouldn't have the Bhagavad Gita, we wouldn't have the nectar of devotion, we wouldn't have the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can't take it for granted. And when you're reading it out loud and hearing it, and just trying to live that lifestyle, is very encouraging, because life is very short. I came when I was young, 19 years old. I was interested in transcendental meditation. I was a musician, trying to be a musician, and appreciating it. But then after reading that Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya, that how we're blinded by ignorance and the spiritual masters opening our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, it kind of shakes you and moves you. And we can't just disregard Krishna consciousness or the teaching as, carry on. Many times Prabhupada's doing his League of Devotees, and then the governor's wife thought, oh no, we have the Samiti, a women's club. This is more important than your League of Devotees, because we have to help take care of the widows or ladies. It's okay, these things are important, but this message of Godhead is essential. And we don't know when or if we'll ever get another human form of life and come across a spiritual master who has explained the reality. So faith has to be there, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, and by staying in the association of devotees and That association includes reading Prabhupada's books. Don't read so many books. Don't go here, there, everywhere, read the whole library. Stay fixed. Read the Bhagavatam, read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar, systematically, beginning to end. And do your service with enthusiasm. And then Krishna will give us spiritual strength and a taste, because right now, maybe we don't have a taste. Somehow or other, we have so many wonderful names, Krishna, Govinda, Madhava, this, that, Narayan, Rama, but all the power is invested in the holy names, but I have no desire. We get distracted very easily by the mundane, by the family sentiments. But devotee's expert. He's expert at taking care of all responsibilities. But the most important thing is the family become Krishna conscious. And you yourself become Krishna conscious. So I was mentioning that time goes by very quickly. I'm almost 68 years old now. So it's almost like 50 years goes by in a flash. And our whole life will go past us. Yang vapi smaran bhavam tyajat yante kalevaram. Whatever state of mind we are in at the time of death, that state will obtain without fail. So we want to be in the state of Krishna consciousness, in the mind of serving Krishna under the guidance of the Guru. And this opportunity is made available by wanting to serve devotees. This is also like we're serving the Guru, and the spiritual master is very pleased when we have that type of attitude. Because materialist, there's a Grihamedi and a Grihastha. Grihastha family and everything is following the Sanatan Dharma, following the order of spiritual master and working honestly for spiritual life. Grihamedi, he's just concerned about his family and is jealous of everyone else and envious. And this jealousy and envy you'll read about as you're progressing in the next chapter, about the materialists are simply looking for enjoyment, exploitation. So one nation is fighting another nation, all because of jealous, envy, and improper understanding on the bodily platform, maintaining slaughterhouses, slaughtering the babies in the womb. They don't know that they're going to go to the hellish planets. And every religion talks about those who disobey, those who are atheistic, against the Lord, and they dwell in the darkest regions of hellish existence. Whereas those who are accepting that, yes, the Lord is the master, the creator, the provider, the maintainer, he's provided all the seas and mountains and oceans and rainfall and fruits and grains and everything for our sustenance, keeping everyone alive, the air, gave us eyes and ears and nose and fingers and hands and legs and everything for the purpose, not simply so that we can just exploit Mother Earth and try to squeeze out as much enjoyment out of these temporary bodies, but to use the body as a vehicle for reawakening our spiritual connection with Krishna, waking up our Swarup, because we have an identity. Maybe we're not, gopis or cowherd boys, but whatever position we have with Krishna, we're fully satisfied in Krishna's lovingly exchanging the relationship with us. It's not that we just merge into a spiritual world and everything is forgotten. Real variety, real color. I remember in the late 50s, early 60s, just had black and white TV. Everything was black and white TV. Then color came in picture. Oh, wow, so much better. Then 3D, put on the glass, you can see 3D. So there's great depth of variety and beauty in the spiritual kingdom. And we can awaken that even now. And there's a sense of satisfaction to be part of Krishna's family. That pride is good, but being artificially proud and not humble before the spiritual master and Vaishnavas. This is, I mean, when you think of Krishna Das Kaviraj, author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, considering himself lower than Jagai and Madai, lower than, I mean, this is their natural humility. And everyone that was interviewed when Prabhupada, just before coming to America, would always say, very gentle, very saintly, and just, Prabhupada just was exemplifying strong determination, despite so many challenges, so many difficulties, never giving up the mission of his Guru Maharaj. And what is that mission? To spread Krishna consciousness, that make Krishna happy, makes us happy too. I remember in book distribution, I was, doing Sankirtan in the airport in Miami for many, many years. We had many devotees out every day doing book distribution. In the beginning, you think, oh, what am I doing here? I gotta meet people, talk to people. So many people tell me, get lost, I'm not interested, or you might feel awkward approaching people. But after you get off the bodily platform, just somehow by Krishna's grace, and you meet people and give them books, and you see there's some exchange. At the end of the day, practically, you have to, come on, it's time to go. No, one more book. And this feeling of happiness to spread the mission of Krishna consciousness is our natural feelings. And whatever capacity we're serving in Prabhupada's mission, we should do it nicely with enthusiasm. And everything comes from hearing and chanting Krishna. Even though we're not that educated or don't have PhDs or very scholarly by nature, doesn't matter. We may not even comprehend or understand the philosophy of the Bhagavat Purana, the SRIMAD Bhagavatam. How am I going to understand such lofty literatures, and I can't. But still, read it, hear it, and then it solidifies, it awakens. I remember I'm a drummer. So you have all the rudiments and you're practicing all your 1, 2, 3, the paradiddles, triple, all the different aspects of drumming. In the beginning, it's very mechanical and you have to work at it and study it. But after some time, you'd be talking to someone and you're just flowing with it naturally, spontaneously. So in the beginning, we have Vaidika Bhakti, rules and regulations, following, get up in the morning, keep clean, do this, do that, don't do so many things, don't associate with karmis, don't associate with those materialists, always stay in the association of Vaishnavas. That's the door of liberation. But if you engage or associate, even he would not see a king, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prataparudra was a devotee, but still, because he was a king, or they think pounds and shillings are nadanang, najanang, nasundaring. I don't want followers, but everybody likes followers. Everybody likes to be appreciated. Oh, I'm a good class giver. Maybe if people are listening and appreciating, or different aspects of adoration, distinction, having people glorify what to speak of money and women. So Lord Chaitanya is showing us how to give up these kind of attachments by avaishnavachara. Avoid associating with persons who are, envious, who are not inclined towards devotional service, and who will spend their time just finding fault with the society. Because every society has faults. Our society probably has a lot of faults as well. But the best part is we have Srimad Bhagavatam. We have Prabhupada, we have the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have the chanting of the holy name, we have Prasadam. There are many, many wonderful, good things, because the spreading of Chaitanya's mission will happen despite us, or despite our, they did this to the books, or that. Yeah, so many difficulties and challenges are there. That's part of the difficulties and challenges that the Prabhupada went through, but still never lost faith and never lost determination to spread Krishna consciousness. So I'm just saying that the real disciple-guru relationship is that we want to please our guru by ourselves becoming Krishna conscious. and by spreading Krishna consciousness to others. That's what the great sadhus and saints do. They travel, and many of the liberated souls from Brahmaloka come in as messiahs, and to guide us. We have a limited understanding. We think, Shankaracharya or Lord Jesus came some time ago, and Muhammad came some time ago, and religion, Lord Krishna appeared. This is all, millions of years ago, Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. There are so many planets in this universe. There are so many universes, unlimited. We can't even comprehend the material existence, what to speak of the spiritual world. Okay, it's all beyond us as far as that goes. But all of it is revealed. Just like when Arjuna wanted to see the universal form, Krishna showed him everything, the whole manifestation. Arjuna said, okay, I take it back. Come, even your forearm form is too much. I just want to see you as Krishna with two-arm form. So we're going to have the brightest future. We have the best destination available anywhere in the universe. There's no opportunity better than becoming Krishna conscious. And it all begins with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. We have to hear and chant, come to Vrindavan, experience the beauty of the holy Dham, very, very powerful. Devotees are now Mayapur. I'm in Vrindavan. I wanted to stay in Vrindavan. And appreciate being part of this family, because this family is the Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And we can stop this nightmare of repeated birth and death in this world, not only for ourselves, but Prahlad Maharaj wanted to liberate everyone. Prabhupada he felt so much compassion. He was Harinam, 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 Eva Kevam, Kalu, Nasteva, 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 Gatranyata. And tears are coming from his eyes to see the suffering of humanity, the suffering people. These are all brothers and sisters. We're all part of Krishna. Krishna is the father of everyone. We may, have so many different designations, but it's all external. If we're not the body, so we're not American or Indian or African or Russian or Chinese, and we're not Christian. God's not Christian or Jew or Hindu or Muslim. The Lord is the Lord for everyone, and the chanting of his names is a universal principle. It's not sectarian, and this is what many of the caste, Brahmin, or religious people were objecting to, that anyone from any walk of life, from any birth, it's not like, you have to be born in Brahmana family. Even with Dhruva Maharaj, his stepmother said, you can't sit in the lap of the king. You have to come take birth again from my womb, then you'll be okay to sit in the lap of the king. So, and this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. There's no discrimination whatsoever. Anyone from any walk of life, whatever your position is, take up the process of bhakti by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And do it whether you like it or not. Take your medicine. Go before the deity and pray. Somehow, my Lord, I've fallen into this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this birth and death and engage me as one of your servants. Beautiful prayer. And we should actually take it very seriously and do it. Do we do questions and answers, or it's like 9:25, or I'm not sure what your time is, but my time is 9:25.
Yes, Prabhuji, if you will be kind enough to take questions from the devotees.
Yeah. Anyway, Purikat Maharaj Shukadev Goswami Ki.
Jai.
And this is a perfect combination, a perfect question from the perfect disciple, and now the answers. The whole Bhagavatam comes by Parikat's two answers. What should one do in life? and especially for one about to die. And that's our position. We need to know what we need to do in our life, and we're all about to die. Some years, today, tomorrow, or just in a very short time, it's all coming. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say a few words, even though I may not be fully satisfying everyone.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji. In the first place, we can't thank you enough for being here. And on top of that, the way you spoke to us, and of course to the world today, is so pleasing and it's so important. And we're just praying and keeping our fingers crossed that we're not just hearing through one ear just to let it pass through the other ear and disappear. We pray that we can keep this in our thoughts and try to live them. Actually, somebody said, don't say try, just do it. So we hope we will do as we've heard from you today. Personally, and I believe it is the same with lots of the devotees on this platform, is that, Prabhuji, we cannot thank you all Srila Prabhupada's disciples enough. We cannot thank you enough. I mean, whether your god brother, your god sister is a guru, is a grihasta, whatever class is immaterial. But the way you received Srila Prabhupada helped him and established this movement for some of us to partake in it and not struggling physically as much as you did. We can't thank you enough. So whenever you meet your god brother, your god sister, please extend our appreciation. That Hare Krishna Africa, we extend our appreciation to all you Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Please, if anyone has a question or comment, you may do so. You may use the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. Hare Chakra Prabhu, please you may unmute. Oh, is that Govinda or Hare Chakra?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Chakra, we cannot hear you. You are far away.
Now, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but it's faint.
Hold on. I'll fix it.
Okay, so hold on. We'll go to Govinda Prabhu. Please unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the devotees of the Lord. Prabhu, thank you very much. This is a very enlightening class, very illuminant, and we can't thank you enough. You've rekindled the fire of Krishna consciousness in our heart this morning. It's like you actually employ us newly in Krishna consciousness again. So thank you very much. So from my wonder is that, like you rightly said, there are many universes, and Krishna has unlimited pure devotees, and Kali Yuga is said to be a very difficult age. People are confused. People are unintelligent, so many bad qualities in Kali Yuga. And so the chance for people in Kali Yuga to accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction is even difficult. But just look at one person like Srila Prabhupada. It's a purity, is a force. You know, by the purity of Srila Prabhupada, he was able to establish this wonderful movement of Krishna consciousness. So just imagine if we have like 3 Srila Prabhupada today, or even 2 Srila Prabhupada, or even 1 Srila Prabhupada today. What would, how would the people receive Krishna consciousness? Yeah, you know, our gurus, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are all doing wonderful. They're all doing wonderful. But if like we have one of such great souls here with us today, how would the world receive Krishna consciousness? My question is that why is it that Krishna sent his pure devotees here, and then again he takes them very quickly? You know, the people here are suffering, the people here need help, the people here are crying, and Krishna has so many pure devotees. So how is it that Krishna sent his pure devotees here, like Bhattacharya Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada, and all other gurus? They don't live long. Quickly, Krishna take them back. So that's my wonder.
It's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally didn't, he just gave the Shikshastika, and he instructed Rupa, Sanatan, and the Goswamis to propagate Krishna consciousness. He empowered them. He empowered Sanatan and Rupa Goswami to give us the essence of the bhakti teachings. Now, he could have, you know, himself been broadcasting. So in the same way, Srila Prabhupada, because he showed by his example and his determination, and somehow or other he's inspired, you know, by so many people all over the world. And Prabhupada is still here because the pure devotee, he's present in his books. I mean, many devotees who are even disciples of Srila Prabhupada never physically saw Srila Prabhupada, or very rarely. We were hearing this morning Shrita Kirti speaking about Prabhupada going on so many morning walks, but only a small handful of the sannyasis and senior people were able to intimately and be surrounded by Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada's physical presence. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada in the form of translating and giving us this Bhagavatam, but Krishna's personally present. So it's not that the guru's gone away. You may say, oh, if we had more Srila Prabhupads or more pure devotees, Krishna's got a whole stock of them. Why takes his pure devotees away and then leaves us all dangling? He left SRIMAD Bhagavatam. He left this Krishna, this ISKCON is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And we shouldn't think anything lesser, because when you're reading the Bhagavad Gita and you're doing devotional service, you're associating with Prabhupada, you're associating with Krishna. So if Prabhupada is present, he's not gone. Physically, it may appear that way to those who don't appreciate the fact that his recorded lectures are there, his books are there. Everything that he wanted to give us is in his books. And Prabhupada was always reading his own books, and he was always amazed and thrilled by that Krishna gave these words. So Krishna's the guru, and the guru is, existing since time immemorial. And of course, Kali Yuga is a difficult age, and people are slow. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this Maha Mantra, the chanting and dancing, because we're not ready for great philosophical, and nor do we have good habits or a culture supporting the spiritual atmosphere which might be necessary to progress. So Prabhupada created the spiritual atmosphere of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and the books are the basis. Preaching is the essence, purity is the force, utility is the principle. So we have to use our intelligence how to see Prabhupada is there in his books and his mission. And we as long as we're trying to carry out his mission, we're connected to Prabhupada. We also are representing Prabhupada and representing all the Guru Parampara. And this way the whole thing is glorified. So we have to see it like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Avichakra Prabhu, are you ready now? You may unmute.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Yeah, it's still faint.
Hold on. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, but I can hear you so clear and loud.
Okay, now it's better. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. My obeisances to all the assembled devotees, and my obeisances to Prabhuji too. I did not join early, but when I came and Prabhu was about to finish up, I heard him say that Krishna has made himself available in different aspects. He was talking about how powerful people descend here, mentioning the name of Jesus, they mentioning the name of Muhammad and all these great personalities who have appeared in this planet to help people. And my actual question is, sometimes I get a little bit bewildered that why are we even struggling or go out and preach and do this, whilst Krishna himself is saying that everyone follows my path in all respects and I reward them accordingly. In other words, whatever state of being that you are, whatever action you are doing, Krishna says he is going to reward you accordingly. So I want what do we call it? You to explain it a little bit for me. Why, if Krishna is saying that everyone follows my path in all respects, and as you surrender to him, he will reward you accordingly, then why worry?
Yeah, well, Krishna made this whole material world for us to experience or to exhibit our independence. And at the same time, he's leaving instructions, the guidebook of how to, get it out of our system, that this independent spirit, enjoying spirit. And so, I mean, Krishna is within every atom. Everything that's created is Krishna. And Krishna's in our heart. He understands our desires. So without Krishna, you can't blink your eye. You can't move your hand. You can't do anything. So, Krishna lets me do sinful activities. Yes. If this is where you want, if that's where your mentality is, and then he reciprocates accordingly. So there's hellish planets and there's degraded life. Okay. You want to act like a pig? Here's a pig's body. You want to be like a fly, or a crow and eat the rat. Okay, here's a crow's body. So why are there so many varieties and species of life? Why are there little microbes, ants, and aquatics and beasts? And there's demigods. Oh, you want to enjoy in higher planets? Yes, you can do that. Worship the demigods. You can go there. But Krishna personally stopped Nanda Maharaj and the Brijabasis from worshiping Lord Indra. No, don't worship the demigods. Worship Krishna, Govardhan. And so Krishna's giving guidance, but he's not interfering with independence. So as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path. Krishna's giving so many scriptures with all kinds, different modes of nature are there. Why don't you just give the highest, just surrender, bhakti, pure bhakti, because people have desires. That's, oh, you want to eat meat? You worship goddess Kali. You make an offering of a black goat on such and such day. So many restrictions there. Oh, you know, so Krishna's not interfering with our independence, and we are just trying to somehow imitate being the enjoyer. That's why we're in this prison house. You think that the prisoners are not following the government law, but the government's providing everything for them. So Krishna's providing the air, providing the food, and also giving us the intelligence how to act according to what we want in this world. He's all merciful. So everyone's really moving along, but Krishna does leave his instructions. He sends his pure devotees, and those who are fortunate, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. We're going from the highest planet down to the lowest in various species of life. We have many, many desires. So Krishna is fulfilling our desires by giving us the appropriate bodies necessary to experience that happiness or distress. But ultimately, he's teaching us to give up all varieties of religion or our own ideas and surrender. Only when you surrender to Krishna or the Guru, which is the same thing, and take up the process, then you'll achieve the ultimate goal. You know, one who worships the demigods goes to the demigods. One who worships the forefathers goes to the forefathers. It depends on our desires and our behavior, and Krishna is providing it. So everyone follows his path to whatever degree. But you might be on the first rung of the ladder of the yoga system, then that's where you're at. But Krishna is giving us an opportunity, especially in this Kali Yuga, because life is short and we don't have the spiritual culture of Varnashram Dharma. So Krishna is giving us, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful, the highest perfections available, and the process is very simple and joyful, simply chanting and dancing. We can try and philosophize and understand technically how and why Krishna is doing what he's doing and how he's doing. But we should know not a blade of grass moves without Krishna's sanction, and Krishna is not making us perform sinful activities. It's our choice, our desire. He's just the observer. If you're just observing somebody and you're seeing how they're acting and how they're behaving, but you have the power to facilitate them, Krishna, as our Father, is facilitating us, but ultimately he's calling us back home. Okay, give up this playground. You know, you built your castle on the seashore, but the wave is coming. It's going to wash it all away. So let's take up the instruction as Prabhupada gave us through Krishna's mercy in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure it's a long, elaborate answer that could be there, but that's some of the points.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the answer to Harichakra Prabhu's question. But if I may say something little to add to what you just said, I think Hare Krishna devotees are like Harichakra Prabhu. The person who asked the question, his name is Harichakra. So I'm saying it that ISKCON devotees are like Harichakra Prabhu, and Harichakra Prabhu is like ISKCON devotees. The reason I'm saying this is because just as parents, we know that whether you work or you do not work, at the end of the day, you find something to eat, you find somewhere to sleep. There are many people who are not working, they are homeless, but they eat, they sleep. But we do not want our children to be like that. So we try to take our children to school, we speak to them, we guide them, we educate them. And even not every work, we do not just want them to do any sort of work. We want them to do the type of work that will give them big money. And so in the same way, Hare Krishna devotees, we know that everybody is following the path of Krishna. But we also understand that this is the path that if you follow, you get the most fat check in your pocket. And so that is why we go out and then canvas to people, hey, please, you can do whatever you're doing, but this is also something you can look into and see. If you're interested, it will help you. So
whatever you do, whatever work you perform, whatever austerity you perform, do it for me.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. But my question, I have a question. My question is, you were talking about how sweet and how joyful devotional service is. Krishna himself says it, that susukam vyayam, susukam kartuma vyayam, right? Now, Krishna consciousness is sweet. That's what we are hearing. And of course, sometimes by Guru Krishna's grace, as sinful and base as we are, we sometimes feel the taste and we love it. But some people, some devotees, they come in and then they leave. That means that they're not feeling the sweetness, they're not feeling the taste. And it isn't that Krishna consciousness is not sweet. It's sweet. But in order for something to be sweet, that particular thing has to be sweet. And the taste bud must also be good enough to taste whatever the person is tasting. So my question to you is, Prabhuji, how do we prepare our taste bud in such a way that when we taste this devotional service, we will actually taste it as it is and never let go of it? That's my question.
No, I mean, it's an important question. It's a good point. And that's why Rupa Goswami, Utsahan Nishchayat Taryat Tat Karma Pavartanat, that, in the beginning, we're enthusiastic. You see some bhaktas, they're jumping, 6 feet up in the air and feeling great ecstasy. But then after some time, they may feel morose or overtaken by lust, greed, or whatever it might be, distracted. So it's a very scientific process. If one is diseased, doctor gives medicine. So we have our medicine, which is hearing, chanting. But if we're, not taking the medicine properly, not defending ourselves or protecting our devotional creeper, and maybe our bad habits of maybe being offensive and or argumentative or not submissively hearing properly, something that there's again a reoccurrence of the disease. It comes again, overcomes one, a relapse of the disease. So even though one may have been following for quite some time, sometimes just like on a battlefield, that even the big sergeants and lieutenants and captains are sometimes wounded in the battle. Then we have to just try to somehow stay in the association and try to get that guidance, and that patience is very, very important. And if we maintain good spiritual habits and always stay in the association of devotees, we have a better chance of fighting off this Maya, which can very easily distract us. Because that, after all, we are in the material world. We came here because we have some independent desire, and that independent spirit, self-righteous, like Lord Chaitanya says, nadanang najanang nasundaring, but people want danang janang sundaring. We're mad after wealth, we're mad after followers, we're mad after women and sense gratification. It's built into our criminal mentality of being in this material world. So we have to follow very strictly the doctor, Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and the hearing and chanting process is very important in avoiding the offenses. And if we lost our enthusiasm, or there's some other desires creeping up, some weeds creeping up along with the devotional creeper, then we need to tend to it carefully and just, again, read the instructions of the doctor and try to really apply ourselves in a positive way. And when we have difficulty, take shelter of the devotees, be open-hearted, and don't be overly proud, thinking that I am intelligent, I can handle this on my own. Because this is why we're all banding together. One little stick you can break, but if you put a big bundle together, it's impossible practically to break it. So this sadhu, this association with devotees and humility and real appreciation that everyone is part of Krishna, it all goes hand in hand. And service too, with a proper attitude. I'm sure there's so much to be said about that, because that is a very deep question, and we have to just think, don't be lazy for the reading and chanting. We have to hear and chant, and despite the fact that we still have material desires and we still have a tendency to enjoy this material world, we're trying to dovetail everything in the service of Krishna, and by daily hearing, chanting, and serving, you'll burn away these clouds of illusion which are keeping us from seeing our true brilliance. That true flavor of Krishna consciousness will come shining through, but be patient.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. I truly appreciated the answer. I don't think there is any further you could have gone to help me understand the question I asked. Thank you so much. If anyone has a question, you may. Govinda, you have a question?
Yeah, actually, the question is it's the same question you asked. You know, I was going to ask how we can actually keep our enthusiasm. Rupa Goswami speaks about enthusiasm as one of the principal factors by which we can continue our devotional service. We are not happy. We become more blasphemous. Even though we are hearing, we are reading, we try to chant every day. But if we are doing all these things and we are not happy, that means there's something still wrong. So what might have gone wrong, Prabhu? We are hearing, we are chanting, we are doing all we're supposed to do. Even when we came as Bhaktas, that we did not know anything. We were so happy. We enthusiastically chanting and you know, Magarati, and we were just happy. How come now that we know a little bit about the philosophy, we are hearing Bhagavatams every day, we try to chant our rounds, and still the enthusiasm that we had when we were Bhaktas, you know, most of us don't experience that kind of enthusiasm, even though we are doing everything. So what might have gone wrong? What is the missing link?
Western Avenue on the left.
That Agyata Sukriti, you know, just that understanding that I am an eternal servant of the Lord, and that I can go back home to the spiritual kingdom by following this process is very enlivening, very enthusing. But due to our long conditioning in this material world, after the initial, jump start of the Gyata Sukriti from the Guru and the excitement of coming across such a wonderful treasure, then we really have to, like, I don't know, for me, I like music, so I want to play my harmonium, or you know, I want to sit in the kirtan with the devotees, or you know, I like playing drum. I started playing the drum again, and you know, go be part of the kirtan, the Guru Puja. Don't be just a wallflower in the back with your hand in the bead bag and avoid the kirtan. If we look at our habits, if we're really participating for the Mangal Arati or dancing, going to the Guru Puja and not just cutting corners, saying, oh, today I got other things to do. I mean, if your life is scheduled or structured in such a way that we can very carefully follow Prabhupada's very scientific, systematic program, and try to better yourself to participate in the kirtan, and really, you may not feel great ecstasy, but be there, hear it, chant, and just even out of duty, do it, and there will come a time when you'll actually gain the strength to overcome that melancholy or that feeling of depression, or, oh, this is just too hard, I think it's going to go back to my old ways, and I'll be a good person and just leave it alone with that. But all I can say is that keep good association, find those people who are enthusiastic for Krishna consciousness, and stay close. And this is what the Guru does. The Guru is fixed in the knowledge of the absolute truth. He's fixed. Tad Viganartham Sa Guru Meva Vigachet Samet Panis Rotrium Brahmanishram. Because just see Prabhupada, despite disappointment after disappointment, challenge after challenge, practically a hopeless situation to spread Krishna consciousness, with no money, not even a dhoti, not even food. We're going to the printer. Did you eat, Swamiji? Oh, I'll get you breakfast. He printed the Bhagavata before he even ate. So if you think of the austerities and challenges that our predecessor guru or the Pandavas went through, and the challenges that we have, then we think, oh, Prashad's not really that great, and devotees aren't that advanced, and I'm not getting the ras or the juice from Krishna consciousness anymore. A lot of it depends on how serious our purpose is, and how anxious we are to make further advancement. So we have, if we're seeing that we're not chanting nicely or inattentively, let me become more attentive. I'm not doing kirtan. Let me join the kirtan. Prabhupada ordered we should do the Sankirtan. And then don't hide from service. Do some service and be enthusiastic. All I can say is get back to the basics. If something is wrong, get back to the basics and try to fall in line again if you can, or rejuvenate that original feeling that you had when you first came in. That excitement will be again, that little flame that's going out will again blaze up if we follow the scientific formula of the sadhana bhakti. Then it'll become raganuga bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, rules and regulations may not be that attractive, but it will develop. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati kinchana. The devotee develops all the godly qualities spontaneously and automatically. And when you're on the higher platform, like, what is it? Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, then the bad qualities go away. But first of all, you need the Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. So we need to do the bhajan carefully. We need to follow the rules and regulations carefully. Otherwise, if we think that we can cut corners and not everything's so important, then it has an impact on our enthusiasm and our clarity. That's all. Just get back to the basics and follow more strictly, and be more introspective to see that, how am I treating people? Where's my love towards, feeling of, sometimes I have to catch myself. I'm in administration. So if you're guiding or chastising or this and that, sometimes I feel, oh, maybe I'm, being too heavy or this or that, then, I feel bad about that. So we have to be introspective on how we're behaving and how we're following as well at the same time.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Rasalila Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture, Jai Vrindavindam. Hare Krishna. Actually, you answered a lot of the questions that I had initially wanted to ask, but I wanted to ask just really quickly, is there still time, Prabhu?
Yeah,
is there still time for, okay, thank you. I wanted to ask on the process of devotional service, it sounds like in the beginning what you were mentioning is that the spiritual master, from my understanding, is a nucleus between us and Krishna. Is in taking shelter of the spiritual master, we're able to somehow or the other get an attachment for serving Krishna, and that comes through service of the spiritual master. Now, the tendency is to sometimes become lackadaisical in the process, and that in the sense that become flexible, and so which can lead to enthusiasm being lost, which can lead to aparada, which Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says that when enthusiasm is lost, and it means that there is some elements of offenses. So my question is, how can we maintain that enthusiasm? How can we maintain, despite everything that's going on, because it can be challenging to once again get back up after being so deep-rooted in that lackadaisical mentality. So with you being in Vrindavan, I'm sure, Radhe Radhe all the time. So how can we, pretty much get to the point where we can be a servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani and her servant? So thank you. Hare Krishna.
yes. I feel this a satsanga, a Vaishnava achar, although one may be wearing devotional clothing and dressed in dhoti kurta and whatnot, if they're simply, not controlling their tongue and talking prajalpa, talking kukata, basically, criticizing and or no, Prabhu, I'm just, we're analyzing the problems. But, the thing is, we have too many professors trying to figure out, all the child protection issues and the women being neglected and men being overbearing and, there's so many things which are going on, which go on in every society. And so you have to be careful not to lend an ear to criticisms. And not that we're just like an ostrich, blind and stick our head in the sand and, oh, Prabhu, you have to be educated what's going on. We all know what's going on. It's called birth, old age, disease, and death. And in between is envy, jealousy, and, basically dog eat dog world we're living in. But a Vaishnava is very careful not to associate with people who are not following Krishna consciousness strictly. You have to just be very polite to excuse yourself and or don't associate with those disturbing elements unless you're directly instructed to deal with a particular situation or you're capable of, rectifying or, complementing the broken system. The system, this is a difficult time. Every society has problems, and we generally get discouraged and or lose our enthusiasm when we see so many discrepancies around us, or we may see people's bad behavior. Oh, how can such a person say such a thing, or how can that person do such a thing? We shouldn't try to analyze other people as well. We should worry more about ourselves and our relationship with our guru, and that guru is simply repeating the words of Krishna. So you stick close to the words of Krishna. Don't hear the Gramya Katha. Oh, you know what he said, you know what he did, and or what she did, and that they said that this is the society is going the wrong direction. Okay. Society may be going the wrong direction, and there may be so many problems, and we might have even our own problems with our family, and many challenges. Challenges are going to be without doubt because we're in the material world. But the formula from the guru is strictly avoiding the association of non-devotees, keeping good association with those who are positively, enthusiastically engaged in Krishna's service, and increase your reading and chanting, you know, especially if you're reading, read out loud and be systematic and hear it and try to apply yourself in a positive way. Then I think the enthusiasm will again be kindled. But generally, when we're not following the principles, or when we're hearing gossip or talk, which is not conducive to spiritual life, kind of deflates our spiritual balloon. And we get a little bit saggy and start, you know, cutting corners and not really being as strict as we should be with ourselves, because we have a very serious disease. And that disease is all devouring. It's going to ultimately kill us and force us into the womb again. So if we see the seriousness of a disease, generally someone takes more stern measures to avoid the further spreading of the disease, and very carefully takes the medicine so he can eliminate the disease and you know, come to a healthy state. And generally it's bad association, and from bad association it crops up all the dirty things which are lurking within our mind and senses. Anyway, I don't want to sound too disappointing, but it boils down to a lot of that.
Oh, it was great. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Anyone else with a question before we let Prabhu go?
Yeah, I gotta go to Mangalarchik, you guys.
Yeah. Kusha Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Anglo obeisances. I just want to ask some funny question. If everybody attain perfection and go back to Krishna, who will stay in the material world? What happens here? Because he created the material world for a reason.
Haridas Thakur had that same conversation, or no, Vasudev Datta. Vasudev Datta said, "My Lord, I'll take the sins from everybody and bring everyone back to Godhead." And Krishna says that, you know, this universe is like one mustard seed in a big bag of mustard seeds. Okay, you know mustard seed, a little
Yes.
seed. And if you put it in a bag, there's like hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. There's always living entities ready to take birth in this material world. So if you're liberating even the whole universe, it'll fill up again, because Krishna's unlimited. There's unlimited living entities, and there are still those who are misusing their independence and wanting to enjoy separately from Krishna. And of course, we want to relieve as many of the conditioned suffering souls by spreading Krishna consciousness and bring them back to the spiritual world. But again, it fills up, and just the nature of our independent misuse. So it's hard to understand the Lord's creation activities, and we try to, from our own perspective and our mental and intellectual abilities, to justify, well, why do bad things happen to good people? We see it from a limited angle. If we had the full perspective and the full understanding, we'd know that Krishna loves everybody very much, and he comes again and again, and incarnates in so many ways and sends so many messengers and leaves so much guidance how to get out. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So people who are tired of this material existence, want to go back home, the spiritual master is there, the Vedas are there, and the association of devotees is there. But for those who are determined to stay in the material world, they're going to stay in the material world. And
enjoy.
I want to know, is that real water behind you? Or I love the ocean.
We stay here and enjoy. Mahaprasadam.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Before you go, I have this one last question, and that is, you were saying that ISKCON is like the incarnation or another manifestation of Krishna. ISKCON is not different from Srila Prabhupada. And so if we see ISKCON in that context, that ISKCON is not different from Prabhupada, then maybe our attitude and how we behave in ISKCON might change for the better. And the reason is that I think it's been like maybe 2 different occasions that on this platform, 2 different senior devotees spoke, and they were saying that the pure devotee, like the spiritual master, does not feel pain. And myself and a few other devotees were saying that the pure devotees, as long as they are in this material world, they feel pain. And so I would want you to throw a little bit of light on this, because if devotees have this, I don't know whether it's conception or misconception, that the pure devotee does not feel pain, then what do we care whether we do what is right or what is wrong? Because after all, the person does not feel pain. I mean, when I put my hand in fire and I get burned, then I'm not going to put my hand in it. But if I put my hand in the fire and I do not get burned, then I'll put my hand in it. So if the pure devotee, the spiritual master, does not feel pain, then what is the use? If you may throw or shed some light on this, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
You know, when I use Prabhupada as the example, that although when you have the material body, it's hard to understand exactly, because Prabhupada was seeing Krishna and the relationship with his Guru Maharaj. And it's hard for me to answer that question, actually, because I don't really know from a pure devotee standpoint whether, he's feeling physical pain or not feeling physical pain. But I know that Srila Prabhupada was transcendental to it, because here he is, just skin and bones, like Bhishma Dev on his deathbed, and the doctor saying, I don't know how he should have excruciating pain. But Prabhupada is saying that all animate and inanimate objects are, under the hand of Krishna or Krishna's. So he's speaking philosophy of the absolute truth with such clarity, in Bhishma Dev, with pierced by arrows, is lying on a bed of arrows. It's said that the pain was there, but because of his strength and spiritual understanding, and or being a pure devotee and seeing Krishna before him, then it eased. He was able to deal with it and tolerate it. So although we can't, I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure that the pain of being embodied, although the body is being transformed or into a spirituality, like an iron rod is put in the fire, it becomes red hot like fire and acts like fire, but still it's made of iron. So the pure devotee, although he's enacting, even sometimes, if we try to analyze, well, I mean, it seemed as though Prabhupada, until he met his spiritual master, was acting, I mean, although he was born in a pure devotee family, he was inclined, but then he had to do business and he had to take care of family, and he wasn't even attracted to meet Bhaktisiddhanta. But then, so we try to put all the pieces together in our own mundane viewpoint. So what I'm saying is that Bhishma felt the pain of the arrows piercing his body, but still he was transcendental to it. He was capable of speaking the absolute truth to Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, and having a reciprocal loving relationship with Krishna, and seeing Krishna at the end of Prabhupada, showing us by his behavior that, okay, it doesn't matter all the challenges you might have in life, and the difficulties. The doctor's saying, okay, he's Prabhupada's got this and that, issue. He has to take this medicine, that medicine. And Prabhupada said, Truth Kirti told me that Prabhupada didn't, he wasn't so concerned about the bodily issues. Of course, he said the massage and the walking made it beneficial for him to have more longevity to carry out his mission. Like I'm saying, to understand the activities understand the bodily of the pure devotee in Krishna, it's very difficult to understand. But this, I understand that the pure devotee is transcendental, although he may feel the pains and the discomforts of the embodiment, but he has the strength and the ability to transcend that and always remember Krishna. Now before bed, you're making me think too much.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. And
all of you have asked very, very important questions. And I think Shukadev Goswami was inspired by Parikshit Maharaj's questions. And I'm inspired by all of your questions, because that means you're thinking and you're contemplating how to get enthusiasm to up to a higher level, and how to avoid the discouraging factors of the Maya and of this Daivi Hesha Gunamai. Thank you for your nice question.
Prabhu, thank you very much. Next time when you come again, I would ask you, why Krishna told Adamoni, you see me this time, but next time, you not see me again for millions of years to come before. If that can be related to devotee being enthusiastic from the initial stages, and at a point the enthusiasm will go off. Maybe it relates to that. But next time when you come, maybe you can answer this question.
Narada Muni had darshan with Krishna, but Krishna said, okay, that was it. You're not going to see me again in this lifetime. And so that like the gopis were in the 10th canto, and Krishna appears to disappear from the gopis. It just intensifies their desire to be with Krishna. And it's even more relishable. That separation is even more relishable than the contact with Krishna. So you're right. It's a long, elaborate subject matter, and why Krishna does what he does and how he does it. But he's always trying to encourage the devotees to just come back home. And Krishna is very friendly, very funny, and very loving, and he, very personable. And that's what everybody wants. Everyone's looking for happiness, for a relationship in a personal way. Nobody likes to just be, categorized or just a one of billions and trillions of living entities, and God has to deal with everybody. No, all the gopis were only thinking Krishna's only with me. And he revealed himself to Dhruva Maharaj. It came, and then that was it one time. But then again, the devotee becomes so fixed that I want to see Krishna in that form again, and that desire just keeps him going full speed ahead.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Shrimad Prabhu, you have something to say last before Prabhu leaves? Shrimad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Well, okay. Salika, you saying something? All right,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, yes, please. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, you can go ahead. But
Yeah.
I was just
Anyway, I want to like to thank him for the nice. Yeah. I'm just thanking Prabhu for the nice lecture, and we are very grateful to the enlightenment. I would not want to take much of his time because it's getting too late there.
Yeah.
I would have loved to just make some comments on some of the points, but I think we have to also be sensitive to Prabhu taking rest.
Yes.
So
Okay, thank you so much. Prabhu.
that's I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. We thank him
I'm going to pray
for his
Krishna
time.
Balaram
Thank you very
for
much.
all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'll play the Krishna Balaram for all of you, okay?
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you, thank you.
Krishna Balaram are very kind, so they'll give you a lot of mercy.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you
So,
so much.
dear devotees, we humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chanted the loudest Hare Krishna mantra to express appreciation for Prabhu's kata here. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
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 Hare Hare.
Patana, Pavechnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Okay, everyone have a wonderful Krishna conscious day, and we'll see you again sometime in the future. If you come to Vrindavan, you'll enjoy the kirtan and all the Raj, the dust of Vrindavan. It's very medicinal.
Thank you, Prabhu.